Hello there, it's Mike Matthews, and it is Wednesday. We're right in the middle of the week. We're stuck in the middle and we can't get out, and it's episode 62 here on the 13th. Wednesday the 13th, we can't get out, it's an unlucky number. I'm so frightened. What a positive way to start this show, start this podcast. Thank you for listening to this podcast. It's not a very long one, but it starts with me singing. It's Wednesday morning and I'm in awe. I'm still thinking about the movie I saw, Mike's Daily Podcast. It was the first of the Girl Who Swedish movies. Lots of subtitles in Swedish language. Is groovy. Mike's Daily Podcast. It's groovy. I would say this movie is pretty darn graphic. And besides, I haven't read the books, so I know I'm behind. They're going to make Americanized versions that will not be good. It's very hard to keep that Swedish, cold, dark, dangerous feeling in Hollywood. But seriously, the Swedish language is a trip. They sure have great furniture. Mike's Daily Podcast. So thanks to that movie, I was up late, and I'm having a Swedish meatball on my plate. Mike's Delicious Daily with some lingonberry podcast. Yeah, so watch that. I have not seen the girl who with the tattoo is what this one was, and then the next one is like the girl who kicked the fiery hornet's nest or something. And I'm just so hilariously clueless, aren't I? And look, speaking of which, who's walking in right now?
Hello, Michael. It's Shelley Schuhart, the gift shop supervisor. Thanks for calling me clueless.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm not clueless.
I know, I was just kind of doing a segue, not the thing that you ride on that makes you look weird like you're too lazy to walk. I'm talking about this was a connection between what I was saying before and what I'm saying now.
That's right, Michael. And I don't understand why you call me clueless, even though that's my favorite movie of all time.
It is a good movie.
It certainly is, Michael.
Mike Matthews.
Whatever. And yeah, I saw that movie, and I read the book, and I think I read the book at my golf.
You did? And what did you like about it?
I think it's really cool because she's like really mean, and she's kind of like a guy with like leather.
She wears leather in the movie, yeah, and she's pretty, doesn't take any crap from anyone, and she's sort of Marilyn Manson looking.
What?
I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, look who else is coming in.
Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floor Man.
And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, neither one of us really like Swedish movies. Do you like Swedish meatballs?
Well, only if it's while I'm watching a Swedish movie. Then I'm kind of in the mood.
Do you like the gravy?
No.
Mike, both of us don't like Swedish movies because they can be very depressing and hard to follow. Now, that's just a sweeping overgeneralization. That's like everything coming out of Hollywood is commercial and trite. What?
The MIKELOPEDIA INSANICA.
All right, so today's subject, as we open up the MIKELOPEDIA INSANICA and we look through the pages and we put our finger right here on this page here, the page is under facial mask. You know those masks that women put on their face, to exfoliate their skin and all that? Well, my wife and our roommate were both, and my wife has got knowledge in cosmetology. She knows how to, she knows all these things about beauty tips and secrets and stuff. And she said she was going to put on this mask, and I said, I want to put one on too. Or I think she asked me, and I said, yes. Why not? I've never done it. I have never done it. So as I've become increasingly more metrosexual in the fact that I've done pedicures. I've had quite a few pedicures now, but it's been over a span of the first one being the day or 2 days before we got married, and as you know, we had our wedding anniversary just a few days ago, so that's been 7 years of off and on pedicures now and then, but my feet do get really gross. Anyway, now I've had this mask thing put on me. It was put on, it had kind of the smell of mint, as I'm touching my face, I'm telling you this, of mint, and then after a while, it became like crackly hard there, so like if you smiled weird, it would start to crack. And then I washed it off about after 20 minutes, and man, wow, my skin felt so good. and it's so beautiful and shiny and smooth, my skin. No, not really, but it felt interesting. It was an interesting experience and gave me a whole new appreciation of what women do. And put that on. And I didn't do the cucumbers on my eyes. I just now realized. Dang it. But my dogs did want to try and lick my face. It was weird. Let's go outside. I tried to have my wife on the show to tell you exactly what it was that was in the mask, but she refused to be on the show. She does not want to be on the show. So we're giving her anonymity. But it was an interesting experience. We're outside of the last place on Earth, the place where we have Mike's Daily Podcast, and the picture today on the blog is of the planetarium in Huntsville, Alabama. Now, this is where you may or may not know, I don't know how long you've been listening to this podcast, but I was living in Huntsville for 2 years, and then we moved out here to California, to the left coast, to the Bay Area, even more left, the complete opposite, polar opposite of Huntsville, Alabama, in every way, shape, and form, and mindset. But Huntsville, Alabama does have a planetarium, and it was interesting, as you can see from the picture. This was taken around 2009. Their planetarium, the dome, is actually from, what was his name, von Braun. Werner von Braun, who's the guy who made the rockets and everything. The German that we captured and brought to America, and he helped us build rockets and Saturn rockets and the atomic bomb and stuff. So the rockets there, this dome was actually taken from something that was used to make the rockets. It was either like a cone maker or something along those lines, or is the one of the silos that they used for the fuel for the. Anyway, they basically, this dome was not built to be a planetarium dome, but they just used it. It's probably not, and actually it wasn't completely round, but there's like no money being dumped into this planetarium. They're all the money is taken from donations, and it's impossible to find this planetarium. You got to drive pretty far, go on like a small side road. You have to walk on a dusty trail for a little bit, get bitten by bugs, and there are people there with their telescopes, and you're on top of this mountain in Huntsville, and you've got the most perfect view of the stars. And it was just a phenomenal experience. And I remember looking up at the stars, and they do a little show in the planetarium, so they kind of give you a little idea where all the stars are for all the lay people that don't really know constellations and all that. And then you go outside, and there are all these people that are donating their time and their telescopes, and they allow you to look up at the sky and look at the stars. And then while you're doing that, there's little lightning bugs, little fireflies flying by. So you have stars up in the sky and stars by your feet. Aw, isn't that nice? Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I hope I've transported you with this podcast. If not, well, maybe you should go watch a Swedish movie. That'll really make your day.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at podcast.blog.com. Email Mike at
mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow. Bye!